One's ready. Go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the ONESREADY podcast. You are in the team room. However, this is going to, if it all works out anyway, this is going to be kind of the first of your ops brief daily drop that we're trying to start. Kind of a segment we came up with. We're going to see how it goes just based off of our schedules and timing and that kind of stuff. But the idea is to get it to you every single day. We just have to figure out like how we're going to get it to you the same day or if it's going to be the following day, which is not ideal, but we're working on it. So we'll figure it out. But if you've been paying attention to the last couple of weeks online, we've been going on YouTube live, and I've kind of been reading you the reports that have been coming from the Air Force, the kind of daily news feed on the unclassified level that the commanders and the chiefs and senior leadership are getting for the Air Force and the Department of the Air Force, which includes Space Force. So the idea is that we provide this to you every single day, quick blurb. This is actually what they're getting. Like I'm reading it to you verbatim. And then if necessary or required, then we'll probably give our opinion on it or what we think about it, or kind of maybe some insider baseball to each one of these. Not required, obviously. And if we have no amplifying data, then we'll just keep it to ourselves. But before that, head over to barbellapparel.com, use the promo code. There is no promo code. I mess that up every single time. I'm so used to saying that. But this is the last week for their sale, $99 for any pants, joggers, jeans, chinos, their anything pant, which is kind of like a dress pant. I use their chinos for hiking, believe it or not, because they're really good. They're really stretchy, lifetime warranty. If you have an issue with it, you can send it back. All you got to do is pay for shipping and handling, and they'll fix it for free or just replace it for free. If you're one of the elite members, which means that you pay a kind of a monthly subscription, that is free for you to send back. You don't have to worry about shipping and handling. Plus, all that monthly subscription also goes into like a little slush fund that allows you to build credit, and then you can buy whatever you want, pants, shirts, anything like that on their account. Not on their account, on your account. But yeah, it's at Barbell Apparel. Anyway, still working on the ad reads. I'm still working it. 5 years hasn't been long enough for me to do it. So there is no promo code associated with it, though. We just enjoy wearing their stuff. I'm wearing their jeans right now, and we want you to go check them out. So as you're checking out, it'll provide you an exit survey to where you say who sent you, tell them ONESREADY sent you. If you don't see it on their list, just hit other and then type it in, and you get to go and appreciate it. So still working on that cough, believe it or not. It's crazy. All right, so here we go. Here is the very first thing, and let me take care of this real quick. All right, this is the 3rd of March is when this came out, which is today, and you'll likely get this tomorrow on the 4th. So that's going to be the kind of battle rhythm that is going to happen, at least for right now, until we can figure out how to best get this out to you same day. All right, first up to 3,000 more U.S. troops are ordered to the border with Mexico. NPR released this on the 1st of March. Scott Newman wrote this. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered an additional 3,000 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border on Friday, a U.S. official said on background. The most, and also let me caveat this, like there are typos in this and grammar mistakes. I did not write these, right? I'm reading it verbatim. So if there's any mistakes, it's on them, not on me. The most recent additions from a Stryker Brigade combat team and General Support Aviation Battalion will reinforce and expand border security operations, according to a Defense Department statement. President Donald Trump declared a national emergency along the U.S. southern border upon taking office and deployed 1,500 troops to the border shortly thereafter to assist with customs and border patrol missions. Completely agree with this. Send those boys down there. They're going to do good work locking that border down. It's been way too long that we've had people just coming over the border, and man, we got to know who's coming in. I'm like, to be clear, this is me speaking now. I am all about immigration. I have people that have immigrated in my family, but they've also done it correctly and they've also followed the process. We can't just have an open border and just people piling in who we have no idea, or else we're going to turn into the United Kingdom. And hey, listen, spent 8 years over there. I've got very close, life experiences with the United Kingdom. I absolutely love living over there. But when a mom and her child can't walk to the grocery store without getting ogled and harassed by a bunch of military-age men that were immigrants that were illegally put over there or legally put over there by their government, like that's an issue for me. So that's a non-starter. Next up, the Pentagon streams clearances on airstrike and raids, officials say, the Washington Post wrote on 28 February 2025. Dan Lameth, the Trump administration recently, Dan Lameth wrote this. The Trump administration recently reduced the levels of approval needed for military leaders to conduct raids and airstrikes. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed on Friday. The decision mirrors policy during the first Trump administration, during which Trump said he would empower U.S. troops downrange to make command decisions. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said last month that service members who served in Iraq and Afghanistan understand the threat posed by international terrorist groups, including their desire to conduct terrorism in the United States, Europe, and Israel. Bradley Bowman, a fellow with the Foundation of Defense of Democracies think tank, applauded the move, but advised that commanders need to have clear operational and ethical guidance. For sure. Kind of two aspects of this. One is, it's long overdue that commanders, whether the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, need to have authorities and clearance levels and permission to strike down to a lower level. I agree with that, because in terms of, waiting for, it's wild when you're in a troops in contact and you have people that are pinned down, or you're in a bad spot, like I said, troops in contact, and you have somebody who's sitting back in a joint operations center that's watching all these feeds and telling you, hey, how come you can't just break contact? Like, dude, do you think that if I could break contact, I would break contact? Absolutely. But right now I'm stuck and I'm telling you I need some close air support, and I'm telling you I need to drop. Why don't you stop questioning me on it and allow me to strike these targets? Now, conversely is, why are we striking stuff as it is right now anyway? Like, we've got to start thinking about what those strategic level impacts of us striking do. I'm all about killing bad dudes, right? I'm all about killing bad dudes, and pedophiles need to go away too, right? But we can't just go striking people in sovereign nations, like, just, so, like, that's a double-edged sword on this question. And I'm not saying that we'll just start rifling freaking hellfires into sovereign nations because it's been the authority's been delegated down to lower levels, but we just got to watch it and be cognizant of it. All right. Number 3, Hegseth to Cyber Command. Stand down on Russia. Newsmax wrote on the 1st of March. James Morley III wrote, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered U.S. Cyber Command to cease offensive cyber operations against Russia. Former and current U.S. officials said recently, the pause is set to last while negotiations continue into possible peace agreement with Ukraine, officials said. A spokesperson for the Defense Department said Hegseth prioritizes the safety of the warfighters in all operations, to include the cyber domain, end quote. Officials speaking on background said the order doesn't apply to National Security Agency or to signals intelligence operations targeting Russia. Cybersecurity investigative reporter Brian Krebs said that the United States should be conducting more offensive cyber operations. So, keyword in this is offensive cyber operations. We are still doing defense cyber operations. We're still doing SIGINT, or signal intelligence collections and all that kind of stuff, right? But in this, it says offensive. So it's just like slinging lead downrange, shooting. You're sitting here still shooting at the enemy while you're trying to negotiate. Like, it doesn't really work like that. So halting offensive operations. And I know that people are going to say, oh, Hegseth, Trump, the whole Trump administration is a bunch of Russian assets, and now by proxy, I am a Russian asset because I'm saying it's a good thing that we halted offensive operations against Russia. But like, if you're going to come to the table and negotiate, you probably don't need to still be messing them up and slinging offensive stuff their way if you want to make any kind of headway with negotiations. So, yeah. Number 4, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth privately warned Mexican officials that the U.S. military was prepared to take action against drug cartels. The report from the New York Post, written on 28 February 2025 by Victor Nava. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned Mexican officials that the United States might take, quote, unilateral action, end quote, against drug cartels based in Mexico if the government didn't do more to combat the flow of fentanyl and undocumented migrants. A Defense Department readout of Hegseth's call emphasized his focus on safeguarding the United States and securing the U.S. southern border. In both calls, the Secretary and his Mexican counterparts reaffirmed their commitment to deepening bilateral cooperation between our militaries, the readout states. I agree with this, and taking you right back to the second thing about lowering authorities, again, that's a good thing, but we've got to be cognizant of the strategic impacts that happen with this. Like, so, if the Mexican government is like, yeah, cool, that sounds good, then okay, cool, free reign, right? And still continue to push those authorities around. If Mexico is like, I don't know, dude, I'm not so sure about this, then that's when we have to take pause. And then that is when that higher level of approval to rifle hellfires or whatever it's going to be into another nation, that's when that level has to get brought up. But, if the soft teams that are there or will be there soon operating need help, it's that whole America first. Like, I don't care what's going on. You do what you got to do to save those Americans. My God. I thought I was kicking this cough ass, but it's not. All right, number 5. Hegseth directs civilian employees to comply with DOGE email directive, written in the Straight Arrow News on the 2nd of March by Diane Dunez. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed civilian employees to respond to an expected email from the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, inquiring into their previous week's accomplishments. Quote, our civilian patriots who dedicated themselves to defending this nation working for the Department of Defense are critical to our nation's security. End quote. And I completely agree with that. I don't think you realize how many civilians and contractors work in and for the DoD, and operations and training would come to a halt if they all went away. Like, it's and right, wrong, or indifferent, like that's the kind of military structure that we have right now. And there it is. Let me finish reading now. Hegseth said in a video posted to social media on Sunday, as we work to restore the focus on DoD's core warfighting mission under President Trump's leadership, we recognize that we cannot accomplish that mission without the strong and important contributions of our civilian workforce. End quote. Completely agree. Hegseth said employees must reply with 5 bullet points, excluding classified or sensitive information, and include their supervisors on the replies. Yeah, it's pretty easy. And here it is. If you're not using AI to help you out, even you don't even have to use AI to help you out to write 5 freaking bullets. Like, and this is what's crazy to me, is that this is not unique to the DoD or civilians, right? Almost everybody's got to do something like that. You got to have some kind of accountability. Like, hey, dude, we're paying you. What are you actually doing? So anyway, number 6, Golden Dome replaces Iron Dome. Pentagon renames Missile Defense Initiative. Space Force News, 28 February 2025, written by Sandra Irwin. The Defense Department has renamed the Trump administration's Missile Defense Initiative Golden Dome for America. Defense Department official said in a February 24 advisory. A DoD official said the White House made the decision to change the name, and Defense News speculated that trademark concerns might have led to the change. Trademark concerns. Wow. The Space Force is expected to play a key role in the Golden Dome's development, and the Missile Defense Agency is leading engagement efforts for the industry partners. Trademark concerns. Wow. That's got our priorities, right? Number 7, Trump administration pushed out military health agency head, officials say, this is published in Reuters, 28 February by Idris Ali. Phil Stewart, Army Lieutenant General, Idris Ali and Phil Stewart were the writers. Army Lieutenant General Talida Crossland was forced to retire on Friday. Defense officials said Friday, following an announcement by Stephen Ferreira, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs, that Crossland had started her retirement. The officials said Crossland wasn't given a reason why she'd been asked to retire. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has argued that diversity, equity, inclusion programs at the Defense Department are divisive. Agreed. Crossland said in an interview last year that she doesn't frame her work in terms of race or gender, though she acknowledged that unique challenges arise from serving as a Black woman. Okay, I don't know anything about her or her policy, so I can't really comment. Number 8. U.S. Air Force suspends KC-46 tanker deliveries after cracks appear. Newsweek published on the 1st of March, written by Brendan Cole. The Air Force has grounded its fleet of KC-46A Pegasus, or 46 KC-46 Alpha Pegasus aerial refuelers following the discovery of the cracks on 2 new aircraft manufactured by Boeing. Air Force officials said Boeing discovered the problem and has halted the deliveries until it can discover the cause and develop a solution. Air Force officials said the cracks were found on primary or secondary structures. Previous difficulties with the Pegasus program have included issues with the refueling boom and the remote vision system used to guide boom into the aircraft's receiving nozzle. What a shit show. Boeing, you got to get your stuff together. Like, it's crazy to me how messed up you guys are. What they're talking about with, so no kidding, the remote vision system, right? There's 2 screens. Like the ride itself is really nice. Like on the KC-46, it's a big plane, really nice ride. You know, it's comfortable and that kind of stuff. It's got these 2 screens for the boom operators in the back, right? So your KC-135 boom operators in the back with the boom, got the big window and stuff like that, and they're laying down on their stomach, you know, and they're doing controls and everything like that. On the KC-46, they are up towards the pilots, and they've got these consoles, and they're doing everything by screens and cameras and stuff like that. In order to do the fusion system, they've got to put these goggles on, or you know, they're just these glasses. They're not as cheap and as silly as the red and blue, you know, cardboard glasses you put on, but they're not far off, right? That's the solution that we're dealing with here. Like, it's just, we have put millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars into the tanker program, and there's always going to be some kind of gotchas or tweaks or unforeseen issues. But dude, Boeing, you guys have it, like the hits keep coming with you guys. You got to figure your stuff out, man. Like, and it's not about just providing a kick-ass product and your bottom line, right, and making sure your net profits are great. Boeing won't exist. You won't exist if we lose the next war. Like, if things happen, worst case scenario, like everybody's predicting they're going to happen, we're going to lose plane after plane after plane. And we can't have issues like this. And if you keep fleecing the government like you allegedly have, I'm saying allegedly because I don't want to get sued. Like, dude, there's not going to be a Boeing or an America to come back to. So you gotta start doing better, man. Fuck. All right. Number 9, Air Force selects Pacific landing sites to test space cargo deliveries. Space News on the 2nd of March, 2025, Sandra Irwin published. The Air Force is set to conduct an environmental impact review for the Air Force's Research Laboratories Rocket Cargo Program. AFRL is something you guys have probably heard before. Wicked smart dudes over there. And ladies. Dudes is synonymous with dudes, like guys and women, okay? Rocket Cargo Program. AFRL's Rocket Cargo Program at Johnston Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. A draft assessment is expected in April, followed by a 30-day public comment period. The Rocket Cargo Program aims to use space vehicles to accomplish same-day deliveries around the world, which is awesome. Dude, are you kidding me? We're going to have some like Tony Stark, Iron Man, where there's, what is it? Not Jarvis, up in space. Anyway, where, you know, there's something just floating out there and they're able to freaking just drop stuff. That's awesome. What a kick-ass thing, capability. Anyway, so the Rocket Cargo Program aims to use space vehicles to accomplish same-day delivery around the world. Johnston Atoll has previously served as a hub for missile defense, anti-satellite weapons testing, and nuclear testing and chemical weapons storage. Cool. I'm all about it. Number 10, U.S. Rapid Weapon Integration Milestone bolsters F-16 attack with Harpoon missile. Interesting Engineering, 2 March 2025. Written by man, I can't say that name. The 53rd Test and Evaluation Group, DET-3, demonstrated the use of the Harpoon anti-ship missile from an F-16 Fighting Falcon recently at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. The test team used a gateway system to link the F-16 with the Harpoon's targeting and tracking system, officials with the group said. An official said the test paves the way, quote, test paves, quote, man, sorry, said the test, quote, paves the way for future projects across various platforms and weapon systems, end quote. Dude, that's awesome. We, like, I don't know how much I can actually go into this, but yeah, it's having those harpoons is an awesome capability. And the fact that the F-16 is able to do that, man, I'm all about it. It's great, great capability. All right. Number 11, the Angel of Death advises Air Force Academy cadets on coming conflict at recent leadership symposium, the Gazette, 2 March 2025. I sure hope this is Allison Black. She's the only Angel of Death I know. Mary Shin, retired Colonel Allison Black, yep, there we go, spoke about her perspectives on leadership during a recent panel at the Air Force Academy's National Character and Leadership Symposium. Black initially enlisted as a survival, evasion, resistance, and escape specialist, or SEER specialist, before earning her commission. She flew over 2,000 combat hours in the AC-130H Spectre and the U-28A Draco. She advised attendees to learn from their failures and share those failures with their teammates. Quote, failure doesn't taste good, doesn't feel good, doesn't look good, but what you do with that moment, what you do with that lesson defines you as a warrior, end quote. Allison Black's fantastic. I know her personally. She is a phenomenal leader, a phenomenal person, phenomenal aviator, phenomenal mother and wife. And she's been on the show before, so if you haven't seen that, definitely look her up. Yeah, awesome, cool, good on her. She's still giving back even after retired. That's the whole goal. Number 12, the Air Force Academy discovers widespread cheating, wrote the Gazette on 27 February 2025 by Mary Shin. Nearly 100 cadets admitted to cheating or tolerating cheating during a weekly knowledge test at the Air Force Academy recently. Academy Superintendent Lieutenant General Tony Bauerfein said the prevalence of cheating and the methods employed, quote, suggests a failure in our culture of honor, integrity, and accountability, end quote. I agree, Tony. Bauerfein said he would make changes to strengthen cadets' commitment to the honor code, including how honor boards at the academy function. In a statement, officials at the academy said cadets who admitted to cheating have received punitive sanctions and rehab actions. Man, I'll tell you, like, I agree with them. I just don't know the details about the cheating. Some would say that that is also reflective of leadership, too. You know, that whole the buck stops here kind of thing. So, you know, I'm not saying that you caused it or you did it, but like if you think about it, like how many people in command get held accountable for things they've said and done, emails they sent, right? You got a whole bunch of cadets cheating. I don't know how many are currently there, but 100 cadets to me seems like quite a few. I don't think that it means that the entire academy is corrupted or anything like that. Like, I disagree. Kind of like when you have some operators within SOCOM, Special Operations Command, end up getting popped for steroids, or 7th group smuggling coke, you know, from South America, stuff like that. Like, that doesn't mean that all of SOCOM or all of the Green Berets or all of Navy SEALs or whoever, that whatever community that comes from, doesn't mean that they're all corrupt or all bad dudes, right? So I don't think that every cadet is a bad dude. But you know, when you have leadership that looks at it and goes, well, this is a problem. Yeah, it is a problem. Is it a widespread problem, or is it a problem in leadership? Is it a problem in culture? Like, you just got to figure that kind of stuff out. All right. Number 13, Fargo police officer, Air Force Master Sergeant receives National Heroism Award. In Forum 2 March 2025 is where it was published. Inforum? Unattributed, a North Dakota Air National Guardsman who prevented a potential mass casualty event in 2023 received the 2024 Pittsburgher Award from the Air and Space Forces Association on Friday. Master Sergeant Zach Robinson, a police officer in the Fargo, North Dakota, responded to a traffic accident in 2023 that unfolded into an ambush, killing the gunman. Are you shitting me right now? I did not hear about this. Quote, through his quick actions and instinct to run towards danger, Zach prevented a much larger tragedy in our community, said the 119th Wing Commander, Colonel Christian Dimitrovich. One Fargo officer was killed in the incident and 2 others were critically wounded. Are you kidding me right now? I have not heard about this. All right, we're going to do a real-time AI on this and see what comes up, because I had not heard about this. I mean, granted, it's 2023 and that kind of stuff, but show me any X posts about it. Let's see what X has to say. I don't know. In the comment section, did you guys hear about this? Because I hadn't heard about it. Man, he's a young dude too, man. Or at least, I don't know if that's him or if that's the dude that got shot and killed. Zach Robinson prevented a deadly terror attack last week. He killed Mohammed Barakat, who was armed with a grenade and 1,800 rounds of ammo. Mohammed shot a bunch of cops and was likely heading for the annual street fair. Ooh, and Officer Robinson shot him dead. Dude. Okay. Man, hats off to you. I hope you see this. I hope you're a fan. I hope you watch. But dude, that's awesome. Congrats to you, or congrats. Not really congrats. I guess it's congrats on the award, but like, dude, well done. When we start talking about readiness and always being ready and being generally prepared, I bet Robinson, and that picture that came up, I don't know if that's him or if that's the officer that was killed in the line of duty, but I bet he was breathing hard. I bet he probably had to run or sprint. And even if he didn't, he's breathing hard because the adrenaline's just jacking him up, right? And you gotta find ways by physical fitness, general preparedness, breathing. You gotta find a way to calm yourself, right? And this is why, like that right there is why, one, I'm always carrying, I'm always ready. I've got stuff on me. I've got medical stuff on me. And believe me, I'm not a medic, so you don't want me treating you, but I'm always ready in some regard. I try and stay as physically fit as I possibly can because you never know when you're going to be Johnny on the spot, go from zero to hero, and have to do some work. Dude, I need to hey, if you guys know him, will you put him in contact with us? Because I would love to have this dude on the podcast and talk about this. So if you know him, please tag him or give him my email, Jared, Jared, at onesready.com. Put him in contact with us. I'm going to also do my own research, but man, if somebody can just link him to this, that would be great. Love to have him on. All right. This one, these are specific for Space Force news. And that's why earlier at the beginning, I said this is DAF, Department of the Air Force. Well, the Department of the Air Force includes the Air Force and the Space Force. U.S. Space Operations Command unveils new motto in headbanging video. Headbanging video? Always the Hunter is the name of it, apparently. Space.com, 28 February 2025. Julian Dossett wrote, Space Operations Command unveiled its new motto, Semper Venator, in a video last month. The command's mission is to generate and present combat-ready intelligence, cyberspace, and combat support forces to combatant commands. SPOC, or Space Operations Command, senior leaders, toured the U.S. Indo-PACOM Command area of responsibility in February, visiting Osan Air Base, South Korea, and meeting with members of Japan Air Self-Defense Forces Space Operations Group. Whew, that's a mouthful. Headbanging video. All right, let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find that and play that and see what this is. See what this is like. Let me. Always the Hunter YouTube, maybe. I doubt that's it. That's definitely not it. Let's see if we can get this up here. Space Force. No. Nope. Okay, these are definitely not it. I should put up what came up though. Yeah, these are definitely not it. Okay. I will not worry about those. Okay, on to the next. Sorry. I just, I wonder if AI has it actually. Space Force video. Always the Hunter. Maybe. Ooh. All right, let's let that. Let's see. Sorry, just bear with me. An ad playing first, and then we'll go into it. Share, come on, share. All right, let's finish this ad. Looks like it's Daredevil, I think, is the ad. I don't know. You guys think that's going to be a good movie? I don't know.
Heroes. Yeah.
Well, apparently it's not going to come through the... Let's see. Nope, it's not coming through. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up. It's not going to come through the speakers for some reason. So anyway, I'll check that out afterwards. It'll just be on my own. All right. Number 15. As space becomes more crowded, Space Force turns to AI. Defense One, 27 February 2025. Patrick Tucker published. The Space Force will look for ways to employ AI for its space domain awareness mission. The acting deputy chief of space operations for cyber and data said Wednesday the service is considering how many special space objects a single Guardian can operate using automated tools as it expands the satellites as it operates. Seth Whitward said, quote, "We have to evaluate the risk of where can we pull Guardians out? Where is that trust level for delegation of a role to run an AI?" Whitworth said. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you do more with less. You should find efficiencies. If AI is the way to do it, great. If it's other kind of systems, right on too. But you definitely got to find ways to make sure that people are able to, input and effectively input that information and monitor things. So, all right. This is a different section now. This is of interest. I think as I'm kind of perusing this, it looks like it may be a double tap here, but I'll just hit it. Number 16, of interest. 70,000 civilian work is targeted for Defense Department firings. Democrats warn Stars and Stripes, 28 February 2025. Linda wrote. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut, warned Thursday that the Defense Department is preparing to dismiss as many as 70,000 DoD civilians, including specialists in equipment, maintenance, aircraft repair, information security, and logistics. Quote, "This will inevitably impact defense readiness," end quote, Blumenthal said. "There is a domino effect that will extend across the military." Defense Department announced last week that it will eliminate 5,400 positions and will evaluate staffing needs to identify, quote, "low impact and low priority," end quote, programs. Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Roger Wicker, Republican from, I think that's Mississippi or Missouri, said the process will, quote, "enable HECSEF to offset needless and distracting programs," end quote, "focus on climate change and diversity, equity, inclusion programs, and direct focus on important warfighting priorities shared by Congress." Okay, there's no way, like zero chance. This is that right there. The fact that Senator Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut, is saying this is a complete lie. No one is trying to shit can 70,000 civilians. Not a single person. That has never come out of anybody's mouth. You know why? Because that would be every single civilian in the DoD. That is impossible, cannot happen, will not happen. That is rhetoric that is being used. It's complete bullshit. Number 17, will TJAG firings diminish the important TJAG? I'm not sure what TJAG, that might be that's got to be a typo. I don't know. I've never heard of a TJAG. Will JAG firings diminish the importance of military legal advice? Air and Space Forces wrote on 1 March 2025, written by Lee Harpley. The dismissals last month of the Judge Advocates General for the Air Force, Army, and Navy have raised concerns among former JAGs. Retired, maybe that's total, for like total force, maybe? Because they say TJAGs in here again, but then they use JAGs. Retired General Richard Harding, the Air Force Judge Advocate General from 2010 to 2014, said the firings lead him to believe that the JAGs were in the way, quote, "in the way," of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's objectives. However, Harding said he was concerned by Hegseth's intent to downgrade the JAG position from an 09 to an 08 billet, as the downgrade could marginalize the value of JAGs in their advice. Fucking whatever, dude. You're a fucking lawyer. Number 18, Warren Duckworth probe Air Force Secretary nominee on dealings with Elon Musk. Breaking Defense, 28 February 2025. Valerie Sins wrote. Tammy Duckworth, Democrat from Illinois, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts, on Thursday asked Troy Minnick, the Trump administration's nominee for Air Force Secretary, to disclose information about his relationship to Elon Musk and whether he arranged to have SpaceX favored in the National Reconnaissance Office contract solicitation, as reported by Reuters. Duckworth and Warren said the report contained, quote, incredibly serious allegations of misconduct and favoritism, end quote, and noted that Minnick would be involved in key contracting decisions involving SpaceX and Musk if confirmed. Minnick previously served as Deputy Undersecretary of the Air Force for Space during the Obama administration. Okay, a few things on that. Anything that comes out of a politician's mouth, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or whatever, is complete bullshit. Like, do not trust anything they say. If you're really going to trust what Tammy Duckworth and Elizabeth Warren say, like, dude, have I got a bridge to sell you? Also, this person, Minnick, was the Undersecretary of the Air Force during Obama, so he is one of their own. Okay. Two is there another company that is launching as much or as often as SpaceX that is also at the cost too, right? So not only is SpaceX seemingly launching several times a week, but it's also reusing all that stuff, so the cost is down. Like, who else you going to use? What is it? Amazon's Blue Origin, like barely getting to space. You're going to use Virgin Galactic, barely getting into space. Like, who else are you going to use? NASA, where we wait. Or how about Boeing? You're going to use Boeing, where we wait 5 years or whatever, 7 years to get a Starship up there, and that's right, they can't do it because they can't even go get their own. We can't go get our astronauts out. Like, who else are you going to use anyway? You know, I agree that monopolies aren't great, but maybe somebody else needs to come up with a different program that also does that, so there's competition. Like, if you ask Elon Musk, it's kind of like when he put all his patents for all his batteries, all the Tesla, all that stuff is out there, and it's all free game, right? Because he wants the competition, because competition drives innovation, right? So everybody benefits from competition. So anything, it's wild. Again, who else you going to use? Maybe you'll use these folks in number 19. Quote, moon dust on our boots. Texas company's Blue Ghost lands on lunar surface, the New York Times published it on 1 March. Written by Kenneth Chang. A robotic lander built by Firefly Aerospace. Boy, I'm from South Carolina. I'm struggling right now. Man. A robotic lander built by Firefly Aerospace touched down on the moon Sunday, marking the second successful lunar landing by a private U.S. company. What Firefly demonstrated today, I think they made it look easy, but it's incredibly difficult, said Joel Kearns, Deputy Associated Administrator for Exploration for NASA's Science Mission Directorate, adding that the landing proves NASA's approach to financing private missions can work. Firefly's previous government contracts have included tactically responsive space missions for the U.S. Space Force. Good on them, man. Good job, guys. Number 20, Kurdish militant group PKK declares ceasefire after decades of conflict with Turkey, NPR wrote on the 1st of March, published by William Marks. Militants with the Kurdistan Workers' Party have declared a ceasefire with the government of Turkey after over 40 years of fighting. 2 days after the PKK's leader called on his fighters to stand down, an analyst has speculated that PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan, who's been held in Turkish prison for over 25 years, could be released in exchange for renouncing violence. Bill Park, a visiting fellow with the King's College London, said he doesn't expect anything major to come from the ceasefire, though many members of the PKK may feel obligated to abide by Öcalan's call to disarm. Turkish President Recep Erdogan was more optimistic, calling the ceasefire an opportunity to take a historic step towards tearing down the wall of terror that has stood between the Turkish and the Kurdish peoples. I've never gotten down this far in these, so it's kind of interesting, especially because starting now, they start to go with opinions on things. So maybe what I need to do, and I'm interested to see what you guys want me to do with these. Do you want me to kind of curate these to where you're only getting the important stuff, or do you like kind of just getting everything? Because these are all opinion based now. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of read these to you. There's only 3 more, maybe 4 more. There's only 4 more, and I'll read them to you in their entirety, and then you tell me if it's worth it or not. So number 21, opinion, space endurance, a call for more dialogue, not less. Space News, published on 28 February by Colonel Pete Atkinson. A report from the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies on the Space Force's theory of competitive endurance and the Space Force's response evoke a competition on the existence of Space Force itself and a call for more dialogue, writes Army Colonel Pete Atkinson, Principal Space Advisor with the Department of the Army. Quote, at face value, the criticisms are not new and appear innocuous. Atkinson writes, however, the fact that they are not new suggests that the Space Force leadership is not adequately addressing these challenges. These offers, I'll just say it, this offers a clue about the strong leadership reaction. However, Atkinson also argues that the Mitchell Institute has deviated from its nature as a fact-based independent research body, adding, helpful criticism ought to focus on theory rather than speculation, wrote Atkinson. He concludes that calling on the Mitchell Institute to re-examine how it delivers policy recommendations and by recommending the Space Force heed the Mitchell Institute criticism. Okay, whatever. Opinion. Number 22, opinion. America must resource its space power advantage. Air and Space Forces, 2 March 2025, by Douglas A. Berkey. The Defense Department must take care not to cut its core capabilities, particularly within the Space Force, as it looks to reapportion 8% of its spending, writes Doug Berkey, Executive Director of the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies. Quote, Guardians are making rapid progress, delivering results in months and years that would normally take decades, Berkey writes. The scale and scope of the threat demands nothing less. Berkey describes the Space Force as, quote, the greatest bargain in DoD, end quote, conducting a vital space mission with just 3% of the department's budget. He concludes Space Force missions are foundational to America's defense. No other service can effectively operate without the capabilities Guardians bring to the fight. Agreed. The Department of Defense must ensure that they are sufficiently resourced to execute the mission asked for them. 100%. Every single organization within the DoD is being asked to do a whole bunch of stuff, some more than others, and they should be resourced appropriately. If not, then you've got to expect some failures or being told, no, we just can't do that. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And believe me, that is happening more than you think. All right. Number 23, opinion. The U.S. Air Force lacks imagination, and that's a dangerous thing. Breaking Defense, 28 February 2025, written by Colonel Maximilian Bremer and Kelly Graco. Without reading that, I do like that title because I agree with that. A fundamental flaw in Air Force culture is its reluctance to embrace risks that come with innovation, right? Right, the colonels. Director of Air Mobility Command's Advanced Programs Division, and Kelly Greco, a senior fellow with the Stimson Center's Reimagining U.S. Grand Strategy Program. Quote, with Russia adapting to the battlefield in Ukraine, Iran pursuing a cost imbalance strategy, and China pursuing the same or similar technologies as the U.S., adversaries need only employ a little imagination to take the Air Force by surprise, end quote. Yeah, China's also stealing our IP too. Like, throw that in there. While the Air Force is under tremendous pressure to get its acquisitions right, it errs by rejecting new capabilities and concepts. They advocate for diversifying acquisitions and developing a variety of prototype systems that can be quickly scaled up as needed. And they argue that the Air Force should streamline its requirements process. Bremer and Greco also argue that the defense industry must change, expanding the development of air power to include more offerings. I agree. You could also take the Air Force Special Operations or the Special Operations Command model that has rapid acquisitions and fielding. Now, much smaller budget. We're a leaner, lighter force, so we're able to acquire things differently and kind of focus our stuff. Whereas when you start talking about, a service, like that's big money, but at the same time, like that is a big ship to steer, right? And you've got a wide swath of things that you are trying to solve problems for. So it definitely provides challenges. Next one, this one doesn't say opinion or anything like that, but it says the Air Force on Facebook posts included, yeah, it doesn't matter. That's something that does not matter. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. The goal is to get this to you every day, but there's going to be challenges with that. And it's going to be decently easy to get it to you. Like, you'll be watching this on the 4th of March. I'd like to get to a point where we get this to you the day of, but I don't know how we're going to do that because Aaron and Trent are working. I'm about to start working, and it's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens. But for now, this is what we're going to do. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you guys aren't, well, why would you be tracking? You don't know. We're actually getting Shadowbanned right now. I've had several people reach out to us and go, hey, man, I've been looking for this episode because one of my buddies is on it and I can't find it. So I had to physically send him the link because even when he went to YouTube to search, he couldn't find it. So we are actively being shadow banned for whatever reason. I mean, personally, I don't think we're too controversial, but so we've started actively posting on Rumble. We've started actively posting on X. So if you can't find us on here, you can get us over there. So, all right, we're out here. Later.